My name is David Jakubowski. I'm the general manager of State House Square in Hartford, Connecticut, which is an approximate 1,000,000 square foot Class A trophy office tower, multi-tenanted, built in 1987, highest level of finishes, highest level of service. We suffered a catastrophic water loss as a result of a summer thunderstorm that flooded the roofs and blew apart one of our main roof drains, flooding the second floor, first floor, lobby, and 2 levels of a 50,000 square foot health club that were below grade. We had water everywhere. We had water in spots we didn't think we would have had water. Between my knowledge of the asset and the expertise of United, we were able to put together very detailed water mapping of the entire project, which was hundreds of thousands of square feet of damaged area from the 3rd floor down to the lowest level of the health club. We had water in our elevator systems, our escalators. We had water in our electrical distribution system. We had water in our fire alarm system. We had water behind walls. We had water in ductwork. It was an extensive loss. Water was pouring down outside. Never expected any of it to enter the building. I received a phone call at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon from one of my tenants that they heard water running in their space. Then received another phone call that we had water coming into the lobby of the building. Initially we made an assessment on where we had water, and we had water everywhere from the 3rd floor down. It was pouring through the building, pouring through elevator hoistways. The elevators had shut down. We had stopped the water from continuing to enter the building because we made a temporary repair to the drain itself. And at that point, we called our cleaning staff, and we called one of the well-known national water mitigation companies out there who had handled a small project for us a few years before. They came with maybe half a dozen people and a few trucks, and realized right away it was a much bigger claim than they were anticipating. United was brought in by the insurance company and my public adjuster. We had a meeting very early on to assess the damage to the building and to evaluate how the current mitigation company was handling it. And it was felt by all parties, including myself, that the local company didn't have the resources and capabilities to handle a claim and a rebuild of the size of the loss that we had suffered. United worked with the company I had here to finish up the cleanup and mitigation portion of it, at which point the local company bowed out of finishing the job, and I brought United in to handle the rebuild and the rest of the mitigation. In addition to the water mapping that we did, we brought in technology, we brought in robots, we brought in special cameras to be able to identify water damage within ductwork, within sealed wall areas, within shafts and other penetrations of the building.
Now you were saying before that your HVAC system utilizes an open plenum system. What does that mean?
So instead of an open plenum system, instead of having a ducted return back to your HVAC equipment, the entire space above your finished ceiling is the return ductwork. That runs throughout the whole building to a main supply shaft in State House Square that runs from the lowest level of the building up to the penthouse.
So when you had this open plenum, was there a concern that mold would start developing maybe on the 1st floor and then contaminate the entire building?
It was a tremendous concern of ours, which is one of the reasons why we brought in equipment. We did regular testing with industrial hygienists to make sure air quality was maintained. We made sure we had shifts working around the clock to remove water, to dry areas, to remove wet materials so we didn't get mold growth. We brought in equipment and foggers to kill any microbial growth that may be finding its way into our return plenum and into our HVAC system. We had several tenants that were severely impacted and had to be relocated in the facility. We had office tenants that had to be relocated, and we had a 50,000 square foot health club on 2 levels that had to be relocated. We built temporary facilities for these companies to use elsewhere in the building. The office tenants were easy. The health club, we had to build Zumba rooms and yoga studio and temporary group exercise rooms elsewhere in the facility while we dried out the health club and rebuilt. The health club was shut down for 1 day as a result of this flood and opened back up the next day. United worked around the clock 24/7 to build temporary facilities for the health club and get them up and running as quick as possible. They were always operational. There were points in time where some of their services were impacted while we did the rebuild, but they remained open, every single day thereafter. There were 7 elevators that were impacted by the flood. They had all suffered catastrophic failure. None of them were operational, including my service cab. The ultimate fix was replacement of all this elevator equipment with new elevators, new systems. It was about a $4.5 million part of the claim. It was very complicated. There were code issues. We had to keep the building open during this process so we didn't lose tenants. Our elevator contractor and United worked hand in hand to help me through the entire process. So within 2 days we had 2 elevator cabs up and running while we worked on modernizing the equipment and replacing the equipment. The initial offer from the insurance company was $2 or $3 million, which didn't even begin to cover the overall claim. As we discovered more and more damage to equipment and systems and the facility, the claim grew and grew. United's expertise at working with insurance companies and working with the adjusters allowed us to speak to the insurance company to get them to understand the gravity of the loss and ultimately settle on a $15 million number.
United came in as the insurance company's expert. How did they end up working for you?
They ended up working for me because I insisted that they come work for me. It was very clear initially in the process that United understood complex claims, they understood complex rebuild, they understood how these buildings work, how these systems integrate, far more so than these smaller local companies. They were very easy to work with. Senior management and ownership from United were involved every step of the way, and they were outstanding communicators. Between my public adjuster and the insurance company, I felt that United was a conduit that everyone trusted to get the job done. The silver lining in all of this is, as a result of the claim, we have a spectacular new lobby. We have 8 state-of-the-art brand new elevator cabs that are absolutely gorgeous. All of these things have a positive impact on our curb appeal and our ability to market to prospective new tenants. If I suffered another loss, I absolutely would call United to handle all of it for me. I have the utmost confidence in their team, their executive management, and their expertise to handle any claim. In fact, I've continued the relationship with United and their team to handle other construction projects around my asset, everything from lobby renovations to tenant fit-outs. They're handling a rebuild on a 8,000 square foot restaurant, for example. United has been an excellent company to deal with. They're honest, they're great communicators, they're extremely knowledgeable, and they care.